Kanami is not seen as a good pick for Cauchy Street, and frankly, I kind of agree. But I think she's far from unplayable, and I'm here to share some basics that could be useful to help you have more impact as Kanami on this map. So keep in mind that as a neutron Kanami main, I'm not qualified to tell you exactly how to play or position yourself on this map. So this is more meant to be a knowledge sharing than a guide, and you'll need to evaluate the usefulness of this knowledge for yourself. And also, this is not meant to be fully comprehensive. There's a lot of specialized and weirdo tag on this map if you want to find them for yourself, but I'm only going to share what I think are the bare basics that you'll need for Kanami that are easier to apply. So I hope that this will help you play a better Kanami, and there will not be any coconut sharing in this video. The one thing I will say though is that when you're playing Kanami, you have to bring a smoke, especially on this cursed map, okay? Please just bring a smoke as Kanami. You have a long range scan that can insta-tag people, and your sniper shots also give scans. I don't care what your preferences or rank is, okay? Even if you're Sekiro, even if you're Singularity, you're just giving a free value if you don't bring a smoke, and I will clown you for it. I like having smoke heal or smoke win on this map, actually any map, and you can honestly run anything on the second slot. But please bring the goddamn smoke, okay? I don't want to see another Kanami without a smoke ever again. Alright, thanks. On Cauchy Street, it's a pretty safe assumption that the defense is definitely trying to get early info. So when you're trying to scale A side, if there's no Kokona, you might want to use your rifle to scan the doorway, scan the left side, and instantly buffer reload. So at least this way, you'll at least get some information about who's defending the site for sure. And your sniper shot is likely not going to give away any info they won't already know just by looking at you. Alright, so if you're going through upper, sometimes I like to use this smoke scan to entry. So the point of this is that one, you have a scan that's very hard for the defense to break because they can't see it. Second, it blocks vision from the heaven players, and this lets your team scale out without risking that they might have like an interceptor in heaven or something. And third, it gives you the option that you can play in your own smoke and get an early pick on anyone who that's being careless, because sometimes the defense who are just hiding behind the trash can or something, getting cover, they'll see the smoke, they think there's no scan, right? And they'll peek out, get scanned and die. Right? But then the problem with this is that you're using your smoke early, you're committing the smoke in the start of the round, and you won't have it for later, which is a big disadvantage, so be careful with this. So otherwise, if you don't want to be using your smoke, you have your basic scans that everyone uses, you know, like these. Right? These are all your basic scans. And there's one in the lamp in the back. Right, so these are basic scans that everyone uses, but there's also one that I like, that I found and it works quite well, is that if you are behind this box, you can safely throw the scan up here without, you know, peeking at all. And this scan is nice because it scans just about everyone. Even this guy, as long as it's not, you know, paper hugging, he'll get scanned. Even behind this trash can, as long as you're out a little bit, you'll get scanned. It scans everyone on the side. It's pretty nice. And the only people who are going to break this, because for the rotator's perspective, when they're coming in here, they won't see the scan. They'll look around, see nothing, but when they are turning back, they'll try to look at your teammates. But the scan is actually on above them. So if you just need to be fast or something, or if you need the information in bottom of the side, then you can just use this. This is a lot harder to miss as well, so that's nice. And then you have some other specialty scans, like, you know, above this. I think there's one over here as well. And the point of these scans are that they're a little bit hard to see or break because they're kind of flat. from the defender perspective, but you know, it won't catch anyone on site. You can also just shoot a scan into heaven if you really want to fight heaven for some reason. Yeah, there's a lot you can do here. So as far as your Kanami ultimate goes, somewhere around here is nice if you want to execute the site with your team. Catches everyone except that corner. If you need it closer in order to defend yourself, anywhere here is fine. Right? And let's say if you just want to use your ult deep and you're low health or something, or you just don't want to get shot, you don't want to expose yourself like this, what you can do is to just look up slightly. You'll either end up there or in the bottom. Right? You don't expose yourself for fun. If you aim too high though, then it'll just end up very close to yourself. So you have to be careful about that. And also some other peeking tricks on this side. So if you're on site, getting up on this box can let you peek this with some safety from the trash can, the garbage. If you're standing here, similarly, double jump, shoot. And you can also stand on this to get slightly deeper angle into heaven. But you should not be finding yourself in these kind of positions that often anyways, so this is just a bit of extra knowledge. And let's say if you're on a lurk or something, or your team wants to bust through to a different place and you're able to get a deep position, you can scan deep into CT so that you can catch anyone who might be getting a crossfire, or you can scan onto this signboard for B, and this catches anyone who's playing around this area, and it also helps you scan B, which can be useful sometimes. There's also one other scan that I sometimes like to use when I'm entering or exiting A side, which is this one. If you're in A main, you can jump and scan this building. So the point of this scan is that, well, I'm actually not sure if it's that good. I think it should be, but it scans people who are on the flank. And they will probably never know that this is being here. Right? And it scans people who are sticking onto the wall as well, without any warning. So normally what happens is that once they get scanned, they get confused and run away, which I guess wards off the flank, but I'm really hoping to see if there's any way to take advantage of this scan. Right? If your team is already in the process of rotating and you want to help your team out, then sure, maybe. But I'm sure better players than me can find out a good use for this. B side is not very special in terms of scans though, but there is one where if you are in link, you can shoot through this foliage over here to get this high scan on this building that people can't see the pathway of very clearly. Right? It's a pretty decent scan. And this is, you use this when you want to be fast or if there's a smoke in your way. Otherwise, you just have your regular B scans. If you're starting out, this is a very accessible scan after you peek the corners. Also, this is not a bad scan to use to catch anyone who's just, you know, hiding in this corner. At least you know who's there. One scan that I think is okay is just this one that no one seems to use. It just catches people close and it's not breakable by people in the back, which, well, is a trade-off, really. And if you're here, you can also scan this signboard for the B scan and it catches a little bit of the people who are just rotating in. Other than this, you have your scans that go into CT. You just have this regular scan. Like, honestly, it's not all that special, the scans on this map. But a smoke scan can be pretty good, especially since your team is likely to already give the scan to entry, give the smoke to entry. I wouldn't recommend throwing this by yourself though. Right? So nothing too special on this side. This one does catch people who are coming out from C though. And you sometimes do use this when you're trying to just help out B and just run away. So when you want to rotate from A or C, whichever, you might be interested in just putting this scan in the general area so you can see who is trying to rotate. right? And then you can decide as a team what you want to do after that. If you want to go back into A side, smoke this off. If you want to continue on to C, if you just want to throw the smoke to throw them off anyways, whatever. The other special scan that you want to take note of though is that if you're on B side and your team wants to hit A, right? You can use this scan, or you can also use this scan, which is the lip scan that we were using earlier. And the point of this is that instead of catching, the people who are around this area only, you can catch everyone on site. If there's anyone here, you can just catch anyone here. If you can get this lip one, yeah, it catches everyone, which the signpost one doesn't catch. So as for B to C link, well, actually, interesting thing, this guy is fake, so you might be able to do something interesting with this. But anyways, you can just throw your scans into heaven to help your team on C. Or if you're just lurking, or if you just want to find out who is playing here on the rotate, whatever. One trick that I have for peeking is that it's sometimes a little hard to see all the way inside. So you can just stand on this box over here, which gives you a little bit of an off angle. You can also just scan this corner to catch anyone who's just watching, at least to find out who. But this runs the risk that if there's no one watching, you're making sound, so be careful of that. Lurking as Kanami is actually not bad on this map either, especially if you have a windstorm grenade, which you can just use to get up into heaven when no one's suspecting it, right? And you can go all the way around, you can catch anyone who's playing CT, who's trying to catch your team. And you can also just call for your team to, come back and rotate, and you can snipe them away. But another thing that you can do, another piece of tech, is that if you have A3 and you have 15% string movement speed, you can actually just make this jump. And you don't need a win nade at all. But you have to make this noise though, so it's a bit loud. There are ways around this, but too specialized, I'm not gonna tell you. Right. Anyways, your teammates, if they have string reduction instead of string movement speed, which is quite popular right now, they need to be a fast character like Paimon or Loween in order to make this jump. And they need A3 to do it. You can also do it with Fragrance, but this is a Kanami channel, so what's the fragrance, right? Anyways, if you don't have A3, or if you just don't want to use a win nade, another thing you can do is that you can actually make this jump without either of them. And huge thanks to Ascinei for helping me find this lineup. Links to his channel in the description. So you want to put your character near this dot. Aim at the bottom left corner of this cutout over here. And after you jump forward, once your crosshair reaches this area, you want to jump and stringify immediately. So it looks like this. And you'll make this jump consistently as well. Right, I'm going to do it again. Get close to the dot. Look at the bottom left. Jump, jump, stringify. And you can just make this jump, which is very useful. There are some plays you can do with this. For example, if people are chasing you and the bomb is planted for this area, you can trick them into thinking your windstorm is gone, make the jump, or you can just jump up there first and then use your windstorm for this area if you have one. For example, there's many things you can do with this. Please learn how to do this. The lineup also works for Loween and the such, as if they have A3 and they have stringified damage reduction instead. Right? Yeah, it's pretty consistent. Thank you again to Ascinei for helping me find this. C side is pretty similar to A side, where you're pretty much assuming that someone is trying to gather info on you. So this can be useful, but sometimes you'd rather just hold and just see if someone wants to actually pick you or not. You can also consider throwing your stand, your actual kill, into the main, so that anyone who will be caught trying to run away, which helps your Ming or your Mara guide their kill better. However, the other scan that I would recommend you start doing is to scan yours when you try to enter, right? When you try to enter, you just give sewers a quick scan and continue. The rationale behind this is that nowadays there's many players on defense that like to just fly over here as soon as the round starts to gather info this way instead. And if someone decides to jump down, if it's just one guy, then he can take the slow nade or actual nade to fight this. It's a very aggressive way of holding and it's pretty safe. You'll make it all the way here before the attackers can come. So the purpose of the scan is to figure out if anyone is doing this or who's doing this, which will help inform the guy coming down sewers if they are in danger, or to help Ming or Mara guide their utility better. Take note though that just because this doesn't scan them doesn't mean that there's no one here. They could just be hiding outside of the range, right? But this is still free info if you do catch them. Let's say if you are rotating from C to A instead, you can also consider using a scan over here so you can confirm that no one has this information that you guys are rotating for an extended period of time. Okay. So as for the actual side scans, when you come into long, I don't like these scans, but you can do them, right? And when you get a side, you have your regular scans. So very common one. Less common. Or up here. Or just into heaven. These are your regular scans that you see very often. However, I would like to add some to your repertoire. First, under this eye conditioner, or even above is fine as well, where half of the hitbox is just inside the wall. You can scan these fins, either from either side. Right? If you're on the other side, you can scan this way. Or even here, is this aim for the low one so the 360 scan can do its job. There are special scans like these. They are just a flatline scan. You can scan under this sign, which is a bit high. Right? And scans a lot of things. You can scan this lamp as well. Additionally, you can scan into CT or just smoke scan, which is very strong. Because it's very likely that someone on entry is throwing this smoke anyways. And no one will be able to break this for an extended period of time, which is very good for Cauchy Street. As for special scans, some that you can do is, instead of throwing your scan straight into CT or smoke scan into CT, you can also consider scanning up here. Right, so what that looks like from CT side is that the scan will just appear here. The path is very hard to see. The other way you can scan CT, you have to be on the left side for this though, is that if you're on the left side, you can shoot the building over here and it'll show up right here. So people who are already in front won't know that they are getting scanned. They can't see the path whatsoever, and it's very unexpected for the scan to be behind them somehow. And this catches people who are walking into here, so they get scanned a little bit longer. If let's say you are being forced back into main and you just want some scans to protect yourself, you know, anything here would do. If you're on this side, you can scan this fin as well if you want to help your side a little bit more. Or you can scan under here. And this will catch everyone. Anyways, this is also a scan that you can do, consider, if no one is in sewers, because sometimes the sewers player just, when they see that no one is coming into sewers, they just see everyone walk by, they can opt to just stand near here, or near the box. It wastes time though, so I don't recommend it that much, but it does get value once in a while. Alright. So, other than scans, there are also the positions that you can take as Kanami. They are a bit unique. So first, these two positions, right? Very regular. Yeah. And you can, if you want to hold CT, you can do it from here, but it's a little riskier, but it's a bit more unexpected. However, there are some other positions that you should be aware of as Kanami. One is right here, especially if you have the Reichi A3 wall just cutting across. Then you can abuse this. And this is just a more forward angle that's easy to fall back on and be safe. And use paper. Yep. Other than this, there's also this position where you can peek this way. I missed. Hold on. Yeah, so there's another position where you can peek into heaven in an unexpected way from a much higher position. And sometimes if the Reichi wall is a bit low or too shallow, you can actually look past this or double jump to look past it. On the other side, you can fly here as well, but a lot less you can do with this. If you are, for some reason, if you are just up here and you just need a mix-up, you can also just jump right here. Right? Not that useful, I don't think you should be in this position much, but it is an option. So next, if you are playing in sewers, you can consider using this kind of shield scan, especially if you're fighting a Kokuna, where this will kind of scan them a little bit, but you can peek through your scan so that your scan will take another 100 damage or 150 damage for you. As far as peeking to heaven goes, it's a bit awkward, you can't see that much, but if you jump up on this box, you can see a little bit more. Still not very good though. And just a bit of fun, you can actually shoot a scan into this fan blades. Never mind. Ah, there we go. Yeah, so if you shoot your scan at the edge of the fan, it will rotate with the fan. It's not very useful. Anyways, that will be it for this video. Those are some of the basic scans and techniques that I would think is necessary for Kanami on Cauchy Street. I hope you enjoyed the video, I hope you'll play better Kanami, and please bring a goddamn smoke. Thank you very much for watching the video.
你可逃不出我的扫射范围。正在交火。
Where's the scan, bro?
倒是激发了我。